Imagine starting with nothing but a secretary job and ending up with a billion-dollar empire. That's the story of Folorunsho Alakija, once a simple office worker, now one of the richest black women on the planet with a net worth of over $1 billion. But this ain't just some regular success story. This Nigerian queen went from typing memos to owning massive oil fields, taking on the government in court, and winning. But here's the real question. How did a woman with no oil experience secure one of Africa's most valuable oil blocks? The answer might shock you. Born July 15, 1951, in Lagos, Nigeria, Folorunsho wasn't handed anything on a silver platter. She grew up in a polygamous home. Her father had 8 wives and 52 children. Can y'all imagine that family reunion? At just 7 years old, her parents sent her to Wales for schooling, far from everything familiar. When she returned to Nigeria and expressed interest in becoming a lawyer, her father shot down her dreams. Law school ain't for girls, he basically told her. Instead, he shipped her off to England for secretarial studies, a proper career for a woman in those days. So what do you do when someone limits your dreams? For most folks, that's where the story ends. But Folorunsho, she was just getting started. She took that secretarial position at the bank and began plotting her escape from the corporate world that was holding her back. Folorunsho spent 12 years working at International Merchant Bank, climbing as high as a woman could in 1970s Nigeria. But she noticed something troubling. The higher she aimed, the more obstacles appeared. I no longer saw a future for myself, she later revealed. The management kept creating more positions between existing ones, meaning I wasn't likely to become manager quickly. While still working at the bank, her entrepreneurial spirit was already burning. On weekends, she'd fly to Italy to buy jewelry, selling it to friends back home. She was hustling before hustling was cool. In 1984, Folorunsho made her move. With her husband's support, she quit her banking job, studied fashion design in London, and returned to Nigeria to launch Supreme Stitches, her fashion house catering to Nigeria's elite women. Y'all think that transition was easy? From stable banking salary to fashion entrepreneur in a country with constant political upheaval? But she wasn't playing small. Within a year, she won the prestigious Designer of the Year award in Nigeria. Her fashion business thrived, renaming it the Rose of Sharon House of Fashion in 1996. She became national president of the Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria, but Folorunsho was still hungry for more. Fashion was just the beginning. Now here comes the part where everything changes. In 1993, during Nigeria's military rule, Folorunsho applied for an oil prospecting license. Everybody in the oil business, all men by the way, thought she was crazy. When I applied, I listed several blocks, she explained. The one I was allocated was the one nobody wanted because it was deep offshore, and exploring it was too expensive with the technology available at the time. Imagine being handed what seemed like the worst option, but having the vision to see its potential. That's what separates the wealthy from the broke, seeing opportunity where others see nothing. Folorunsho and her husband invested their life savings into securing that license, but it wasn't enough. For 3 years, they searched for partners after previous ones backed out. Finally, in 1996, they formed a joint venture with Star Deepwater Petroleum, a Texaco subsidiary. Talk about divine timing. Just 5 years later, they struck oil. The block turned out to be part of the massive Agbami field, one of Nigeria's most valuable offshore discoveries. But just when success seemed guaranteed, the Nigerian government tried to snatch it all away. They seized a 40% stake from her, then another 10%, leaving her with just 10% of her own company. Now, what would you do if the government tried to take what you built? Most folks would give up. Not Folorunsho Alakija. This queen took the Nigerian government to court. For 12 long years, she fought one of the most powerful institutions in Africa. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, where she finally won in 2008. The court ordered the government to return her 60% stake. During an interview, she revealed, "I believe that nobody has the right to come to me to say, we're going to take this percentage from you and give you that percentage. I had to fight for my rights." Y'all hearing this? A woman, an African woman, took on her own government and won. And check this out. When this billion-dollar battle was happening, most folks had no idea. She wasn't on social media bragging about her struggles. She was in the trenches, fighting quietly but fiercely. What does that tell you about real wealth building? It's not about flexing online. It's about standing firm when everything is on the line. Today, at 73 years old, Folorunsho's business empire spans multiple industries. As vice chairman of FAMFA Oil, she oversees one of Africa's most successful indigenous oil companies. But her wealth isn't just in oil. She's built a real estate empire through her Dayspring Property Development Company, owning luxury properties across Nigeria's most expensive neighborhoods. Her printing business, Digital Reality Print Limited, is one of Nigeria's leading commercial printing companies. In 2020, Forbes ranked her among Africa's billionaires with a net worth of $1 billion. Though she later dropped off the billionaire list, she remains one of Africa's wealthiest women. But in February 2025, tragedy struck when Folorunsho reportedly lost her eyesight following a near airplane accident that caused her blood pressure to spike dramatically. Despite this devastating health crisis, she continues to lead her business empire and focus on her religious ministry. Beyond business, Folorunsho has a heart for giving back. In 2008, she established the Rose of Sharon Foundation, dedicated to supporting widows and orphans across Nigeria. Her foundation provides interest-free loans to widows, helping them establish businesses and become financially independent. For orphans, the foundation offers comprehensive scholarships from primary school through university. Through FAMFA Oil, she awards about 9,000 scholarships annually to medical and engineering students. That's changing thousands of lives every single year. But here's the secret most people don't know about Folorunsho Alakija. Her success is deeply rooted in her spiritual life. At age 40, she made a sacred covenant with God. "I promised to serve God for the rest of my life if he would bless me," she revealed in a rare interview, and he did exactly what I asked of him. Folorunsho was later ordained as an apostle and founded the Rose of Sharon Glorious Ministry International, which grew from a small fellowship in her home to a full-fledged religious organization. Even while building her billion-dollar empire, she believes her true purpose is spiritual, serving others and spreading her faith. From secretary to billionaire, Folorunsho Alakija's story proves that with vision, persistence, and faith, you can overcome any obstacle. If she could build wealth in male-dominated industries like oil and real estate, what's stopping you? Hit subscribe now for more stories of Black excellence across the globe.